Welcome back to Mile High Mysteries, the podcast where Colorado's past meets the unknown. I'm your host, David. Every week, we dive deep into the weird, the wild, and the downright unexplainable stories that make the Centennial State one of the strangest places to live. From secret military bases hidden beneath mountain ranges, to UFO sightings over sleepy mountain towns, from haunted mining camps to legends of ancient civilizations lost to time, we dig up the stories that you won't hear in your high school history class. So whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or just here for the ride, buckle up. Colorado has secrets, and we're here to uncover them. Drive east out of Fort Collins long enough, and the foothills disappear behind you. The road straightens, the land flattens, the sky widens. By the time you reach the Pawnee National Grasslands, the world feels stripped down to its basics: wind, grass, horizon. And horizon is important, because in a place like Pawnee, you can see something coming from miles and miles away. Which means when something appears that shouldn't be there, well, it's really quite obvious. This one we call the Grover Light. A rancher outside of Grover, just south of the Wyoming border, stepped outside one night to secure a gate blown open by wind. The prairie was still, not quiet, still. There's a difference. No cattle shifting, no distant truck, no coyote call. That's when he noticed the light. It wasn't blinking, it wasn't moving, it wasn't high enough to be a star even. It hovered low above his eastern pasture, white, steady, and controlled. He assumed helicopter, but helicopters don't really hover silently. He watched for nearly 2 minutes before it shot straight upward, not diagonally, not arcing, vertically. And then it just vanished. He told no one for weeks. And when he finally did mention it at a feed store in Wellington, someone else said that they'd seen something similar near Nunn. Same height, same silence. That's when it really just stopped feeling isolated. Campers near Pawnee Buttes have described something else. 2 lights appearing on opposite horizons, moving towards each other, meeting mid-sky, pausing, then separating at sharp angles. No sound, no red-green FAA patterns, just white spheres moving with intention. One amateur astronomer who regularly tracks satellites from Pawnee described a light that moved too slow to be a meteor and, well, too fast to be orbital drift or something along those lines. It behaved like it was choosing, he said. Now, that word lingers. Choosing. Then came the drone mystery. Late in 2019, Logan County, Phillips County, Yuma County, stretching up towards Cheyenne, Wyoming, residents began reporting multiple drones flying grid patterns over farmlands at night. Not one, not two, but formations. Each reportedly several feet wide, operating for extended periods after dark. Sheriff's offices received call after call after call. Even the FAA became involved. The FBI started monitoring it. People in Greeley and Sterling started asking questions. Were they agricultural surveys? Maybe military exercises? Or who knows, maybe even private companies mapping land. Investigations eventually leaned toward commercial or hobbyist drone explanations. But during those early weeks, northern Colorado felt watched, and that memory hasn't really faded. Now, let's be fair. Northern Colorado is also home to engineers, hobbyists, agricultural researchers, and tech startups. Not every grid in the sky is extraterrestrial, but it's the pattern of reporting that matters, and the feeling that accompanied it. Now, northern Colorado exists inside one of the most monitored aerospace corridors in the country. To the north, we've got the F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, home to intercontinental ballistic missile operations. To the south, we've got NORAD at Cheyenne Mountain. East, we've even got Buckley Space Force Base. That's radar, missile defense, and satellite tracking. So when people see something unusual over Fort Collins, Loveland, or out near Pawnee, it raises a quiet question. If something is there, who else is seeing it? And what are they calling it? Let's head west of Fort Collins into Red Feather Lakes. The forest absorbs sound differently up there. Hunters and hikers have even described sudden, unnatural silence. Wind stopping mid-gust, birds cutting off mid-call. Then occasionally, a light above the tree line that disappears too quickly to identify. One bow hunter near Cameron Pass described a triangular shadow blotting out stars for what he said was about 3 seconds, and then gone. No engine noise, no navigation lights, just absence. Between Loveland and Estes Park, Big Thompson Canyon carries more than traffic. After the devastating 1976 flood, strange stories started to surface here and there. Drivers reported brief flashes along canyon walls at night, reflections in the river that didn't match headlights. Some even described faint voices when parked at pull-offs after dark. Canyons do distort sound, they amplify wind, and they bounce light. But repeated reports become part of the canyon's identity. Loveland residents sometimes even joke about canyon echoes, quote unquote. But some don't joke. The Avery House in Fort Collins, built in 1879, has long been associated with unexplained activity. Cold spots, displaced objects, the sense of being watched upstairs. Downtown Greeley holds its own stories. Employees in historic buildings report footsteps on empty floors and doors found ajar. Nothing theatrical, just persistent. Northern Colorado doesn't scream its hauntings. It more whispers them. Here's something that's new, and I'm going to call this high altitude headlines. So let's pause for a second for our brand new reoccurring segment, high altitude headlines. Recently, across northern Colorado, there have been amateur astronomers near Fort Collins and Wellington who have debated unusual satellite-like movement patterns, most likely new satellite constellations, but it still is sparking discussion. Another, small clusters of light reports have resurfaced near the Wyoming border in local forums. Unverified, but still, it's consistent. And then increased public discussion about UAP transparency has correlated with more civilian reporting across Colorado's northern counties. Nothing confirmed as extraterrestrial, but the volume of curiosity is rising here in Colorado. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, from Fort Collins to Pawnee, from Greeley to Grover, and from Loveland's canyon to Red Feather's tree line, lights, silence, grids, shadows. Is northern Colorado a hotspot? Or is it simply wide enough that we finally notice? Maybe the real story isn't even aliens. Maybe it's awareness. Maybe it's technology allowing us to see and discuss what we, used to dismiss. Or maybe northern Colorado is exactly what it appears to be. Quiet, observant, and big enough to hold mystery without needing to explain it. Now, in this month's subscriber episode, we're going to break down one Northern Colorado case in detail, mapping sightlines from Fort Collins to Pawnee National Grasslands, analyzing airspace routes between F.E. Warren and Buckley, and examining time patterns. Subscriber episode drops the last Sunday of every month. If you want to go behind or beyond storytelling and into structured analysis, that's where we go. So if you want to hear those, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to my High Mysteries. If this episode made you rethink the skies over Fort Collins, Greeley, Loveland, or Pawnee National Grassland, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss what is coming next. And if you're ready to go deeper into the data, the witness accounts, and the unknown, consider becoming a subscriber and joining our companion series. So until next time, stay curious and keep your eyes on the skies.